I'm not sure if you guys could see it in the unboxing video, but the cruiser bit came with a pretty scummy sheath. Wow, check out this vintage sheath. It was pretty scummy when I got it, and to be honest, I wasn't even sure if I was gonna save it. It was dry rotted and moldy and just pretty nasty all around. And it also had that like plastic stitching. But I cleaned it up with some all-purpose cleaner. I let it dry out, blew it out with the compressor, buffed up the buttons there with some Scotch-Brite, and now I'm going to treat it with some Obenaufs, and I think I'm going to save it. I'm just going to restitch it and go ahead and use it as it is. There are two types of Obenaufs that I like. The first is more of a paste, and that's more for maintenance, I feel. For something like this where you really want it to soak in deep, they make a liquid, and I have in my experience that really works on a restore like this where you need to bring this leather back to life. So let's go ahead and put some of that on there, especially the inside, and see if we can bring this back to life. Really soak it in there. This part right here where it creases is the part I was concerned about the most. It was really dry rotted, and I was concerned that with further use it would just crack off. But once I washed it off of there and cleaned it up a bit, it seems like it's going to be just fine if I maintain it here. And I like that old look. You can tell that this was used. Wasn't a wall hanger, and that's what I'm going to do with it. So I just want to bring this back to life. Get that in there any way you can. This is another reason why I like this liquid form for stuff like this. It's hard to get that paste down in the crevices, but you can just jam this cotton ball down in there. It squeezes out in there. The top two rivets here are busted, so I'm going to remove those and replace them. I don't think removing them should be that difficult. That one was simple enough. This one's still holding. Not sure what I want to do with that, if I should take that out or not. I can see that it's torn right there, so regardless of what I do, it's probably going to just have to stay. I don't know. I'll have to decide here. I'll get with you guys in a second. Alright, I decided I'm gonna remove this rivet, and for that the best thing that I know is this little cutoff tool on the Dremel. It can be nasty, so you gotta be careful and hold it as steady as you can. Hang on, here we go. Next step, glue it together. You don't want to go too thick with contact cement either. And it's not like super glue where it's ready to set right away. You want to let this set for at least a minute or more. Get a good even coat. I think that side's good. I'm gonna stick the wedge in it so it don't close up too early, and work on the other side. Alright, I'm definitely not the guy to be teaching you anything about leather work. I'm just self-taught, if you will. I sort of just hack my way through it, but the only stitch I really know is the lock stitch. And if you're gonna do any amount of leather work, you definitely want a sewing awl. Once you get it set up, it's pretty simple, pretty repetitive. You just push it through, pull it back slightly until you get that little loop, Feed it through. Pull the string clear of the needle. Pull the needle back through. Wash, rinse, and repeat. One more time here. Push the needle through. Pull it back until you get that loop. Thread the thread through, as it were. Pull it tight. Pull the needle back through. And continue on. Alright, I finished up the stitching there. There you guys can see it. Certainly not gonna win any prizes for the most beautiful stitching in the world, but it's held together and it's not gonna come apart. And that's all I need it to do. So I'm gonna put another coat of Obernoff's on this. I'm probably gonna sand down the edges and burnish this a little bit. You can see I got some contact cement coming out. Yeah, let's go ahead and see if we can clean this edge up just a bit. First, let me square up these edges a little bit. Didn't get it quite back together. Square. There, that's much better. That one's not tea bag. Go ahead and take a little off the top. When you're working with leather, everything needs to be sharp. Again, don't watch my videos if you're trying to learn how to do leather work. Go watch somebody else's. This is just me restoring this old sheath. The other tool that you're going to want if you want to get into leather work is a burnishing rod and some burnishing agent. That's just to bring these two pieces of leather together and make them one in order to prevent wear and tear, like fraying on the edge. So you just need a little bit of compound. Apply that to the edge there. And if you want to round these over, you want to use one of these convex tools. But if you just want to keep it flat, go ahead and use the flat surface. And just using friction, go back and forth as fast as you can. It tends to work better if you focus on a small area rather than trying to do the whole thing. Just go in a little area there and go back and forth as fast as you can. When you burn all that compound off of there, add a little bit more and continue on. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm all finished. One of the other tools you're going to want to consider getting if you're going to get into leather work is a beveler. They make different sizes of these, but that's to bevel the edge of leather. If you leave it square like that, it takes a lot more abuse. So I'm going to go ahead and bevel the inside of this. And the outside. Well, there she is. You can see it's a nice snug fit there. I think we all knew which axe head I was going to hang next. It's got to be this cruiser. The question becomes, though, what do I do with the head? Do I just hit it quickly with a polishing wheel, a wire wheel? Or do I take a flap disc to it? That somehow seems like that would be a crime to get rid of all this vintage patina and paint, but guys, let me know what you think. How should I finish this head? But today we worked on the sheath. I don't think this was original. The original Gransfors sheath, but I am curious to know where they got a sheath that fits this so snugly. In any case, it was used for that purpose for a while, it's definitely been through. It's definitely seen better days. Let's leave it at that.